Oki nistunidani kumatsuaki ki kaikatsbaki ki Leah Lori Davis Tatsi. Good morning, everybody. Thankful to be here on this wonderful mid-summer. It's almost the summer solstice. And I'm here. I live along Badger Creek. This is my husband's ancestral land. His grandfather and grandmother John and Belle Tatsi were old cabin still exists here. So we've been here for over 40 years, and I'm a participant in this wonderful program, and I'm very grateful for Danielle and Betsy for all their wonderful expertise. And I chose to participate in the tilled garden, and if you can see, this is my garden, and sadly the last 2 years I didn't plant, and I usually grow a pretty good garden. But today we're going to talk about the importance of tea in our Blackfeet culture. And as you know, traditionally our people did not plant anything, except years ago they did plant a tobacco, which was and still is very sacred, and it's not kinnikinnick. It was actually tobacco, and that was the only garden that they did have, and only a select group of people did that. There's little tobacco people, spirits, if you will. I wouldn't say they're leprechauns, but they really are like ancient little people. I was privileged as a young child. My older sister Darnell and I, we actually seen the little people, and we told our grandma Ground about it, and she explained what they were, and that we were gifted with being able to see them and to make them like little clothes and give them little gifts. And it was pretty awesome. I haven't seen them since, but I know they do have little ceremonies for them. So all my life, again, being raised by two wonderful Blackfeet women, three actually, all my two grandmothers, my great-grandmother Mary Ground and my grandma Cecile Schelt, and of course my mother, who have inspired me and have given me a lot of encouragement throughout my life. And so we'd always go harvesting with Grandma Ground to get various roots. Of course, she was a keeper of a sacred medicine bundle, as well as the I want to say deer dance, and I can't think of it right now. I'm sorry, but so we've always had respect for the land. You know, gardening, again, to the Blackfeet, it wasn't traditional because they were nomadic, and they followed their food source, and they did encounter like the Mandan and other tribes, and they called them the Earth People because they did actually grow a garden. Although they did harvest a lot of necessary plants and roots for not only medicinal but for eating, along with their main source of buffalo meat. So teas, again, there's various kinds, and a lot were used as for medicinal and still are today, as well as is the peppermint comes to mind first, and it grows all over. I like to always harvest it probably about mid-July in a lot of ways. As for raspberry, I really have never used it other than the commercial teas that I buy, and it has no caffeine in there, and you can mix it with the other like the rose hips. I've never mixed peppermint with any other teas simply because peppermint is what they would call a cure-all, and they would always caution you, not, if you're pregnant and carrying a baby, not to drink peppermint tea or too much of it. It can cause you female complications. They say you could abort the baby, especially in your first trimester when you're pregnant, not to drink it. But after you have the baby, it'll clean you out and help you. So it's good in that way. But they just would always advise you not to drink too much of it when you're pregnant. You can make willow, red willow, any kind of willow teas, and they also have medicinal purposes to flush you out, cleanse you out. That's important for not only women but men too. Before you start a fast, to just purify your blood and get everything, all the impurities out of you. So it was a good detoxification, and still is. So a lot of people always have tea. The chamomile, and there is wild chamomile, and that I'm quite familiar with that. I just harvest the wild stuff and dry it and put it away. Now, once you harvest them, you don't want to put them in plastic. A paper bag is good, but the best thing is an old pillowcase. If you're fortunate enough to know how to make rawhide suitcases, that would be good. So I always have to collect a lot of peppermint. Again, it's a preserver, and they would store that with their dry meat, and again you mix it with your pemmican, so you could eat it all year. So they had to gather quite a bit of peppermint, and I do simply because I know it's, gosh, in the winter for colds, it just takes away your cold and your sore throat. It's very, very beneficial. The chamomile, I'll get back to that one, and I don't have any growing right offhand to show you, but it grows all over, and it has it'll look like a little tiny pineapple, but it will have like a little white flower on there, and but I try not to pick the roots, so I clip it down. It's good to have long, good, strong fingernails too, because then you can just snip it off, and that's one of the best relaxing teas to calm you down and help you sleep good at night, and not keep you awake, but it has such a good calming effect. I think I've mixed that with peppermint too for healing. So those teas I know for sure is the ones that you can mix. And like I said, I usually just like peppermint in itself. And a lot of people will just pick off the leaves, clean them, but I do the whole stem because it's astringent. It's stronger, and you can even chew on them after you've made your tea. So tea is leaves that turn the water black. That's the literal translation of it. And so they've had teas from time immemorial, and then later on they were introduced to the caffeine, the teas. I mean the coffee, and it was ground. It wasn't how you can go buy a package of Tim Hortons or any other kind of coffee. So they were beans, and you had to grind them up, which was something that the ladies were used to. Was always making things. But the overall health that it provided was immense, simply because they know the heating properties it was either just black tea, and then in recent times now they've come out with green teas and other kind of teas that are beneficial to you, even if you buy them from the store instead of harvesting. But anything that you grow naturally, I think it has so much more healing elements to it, and the prayer, the taking care of the plant to harvest it in its natural area. It has to rely on Mother Nature for the moisture. You don't get to water it. You just depend on the snowfall, and each year it comes back, and that's the good thing. Unless you cut it again, if you dig it up from the roots, then it's not going to grow there anymore. So without planting it again. And I'm so grateful that this program is not experimenting, but teaching people how they should take care of the plants and how important they are and the necessity of them. So I think that's a really good idea.
Thank you so much to Lori for sharing her knowledge and telling us about the cultural aspects of tea. It's so great to be able to learn firsthand from all of the wonderful educators that we have throughout the season. I just ask once again that you guys like and comment on the video. That way I know that you have watched it. And if not, I'll be bugging you. Have a good one. Watch for the next one.